What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the video. And because I'm approaching 6 years now since I got my first taste of the iron, since I first started lifting, I wanted to take a look back at when it all started when I was a beginner in the gym and some of the common lifting mistakes that I made when I was starting out. I think these videos are interesting to hear more advanced lifters talk about their beginning mistakes, and hopefully this is helpful for any new gym goers out there, for any teenagers or any young dudes or ladies getting in the gym, trying to get started on this thing. Hopefully I can provide you some good tips, debunk some myths, and help stop you from doing some of the things that I did and I've seen others do. And let's dive right into this thing. And I'll throw some training footage over this as we go through them, but we'll kick it off with number one, that the diet is key. The number one mistake, the thing that I wish that I would have done better when I first started lifting, is I didn't start paying attention to my diet until about 2 years into when I started lifting weights. And like for the first 2 years, I really ate whatever I want. And I was athletic, I was into sports. I played baseball and basketball through high school through that time. So I was always like super into exercise and burning a lot of calories. But in your first few years of lifting are when you're gonna see the most of your gains. And if your diet is on point, and if I would have paid attention to that, eating the right amount of protein, carbs, and fats, the right amount of calories, eating healthy, nutritious food instead of, whatever I ate back then, I could have seen tons more gains, and I could have seen amazing gains when I first started out. So pay attention to your diet, learn nutrition, learn macros, tracking calories when you first start out. And you don't gotta be super strict with it, especially when you're starting out. You'll see a lot of those newbie gains regardless, but pay attention to it, take care of your diet. And speaking of diet, the number two thing I want to talk about is do not go on a cut. Unless you're coming into this thing like overweight and you have excess body fat that you probably should get off. If you're a relatively lean dude, like I was, a pretty athletic guy, don't waste your time trying to cut down, reduce your calories to get abs, get shredded. Those first few years that you're training are the prime years to build muscle. You're gonna build the most muscle. You have the ability to put on like 15 plus pounds of muscle in your first year, and that diminishes as the years go by, especially if you're natural and if you don't take steroids as you go through it. So take advantage of that muscle building potential in those first few years and stay in a calorie surplus. Do not go into a calorie deficit. I know it's so tempting. You just want those abs, you want to get shredded, but especially if you don't have a ton of muscle, you're not even gonna look that good anyway. So don't waste your time. I did in probably like that first fall, so probably the third year of my lifting career, I put myself into an intentional deficit. Don't do that. Stay bulking, build up your body, take advantage of your ability to build muscle. Those first few years of lifting, don't care about, keeping abs or whatever. Your body is ready to grow in this first few years of lifting, so take advantage of it. Number three, very important thing that I think I did a decent job of, but kind of lacked in some aspects, is learning proper form. When I first started out lifting, I was super into learning as much as I could, so I spent hours like reading about form, looking up videos online on how to do proper form to make sure I was doing everything correctly, because I think that's so important and something I highly recommend that you have to do to get into it. Because otherwise, if you're lifting without proper form, you're not going to maximize your gains, and you're also going to probably put yourself in a potential to be injured like I kind of ended up doing. My form's always been pretty darn good, except for, I would say, squats early on in my lifting career, because as you know, if you've been following this channel, that I've had some hip issues, some knee issues from going too hard on squats, not knowing exactly what I was doing, bracing my core, bracing my hips, everything like that. I wouldn't say I had bad squat form by any means, but I definitely wasn't paying close enough attention to it, and that has hindered my ability to squat in the past few years. So definitely early on, make sure that you learn proper form, because that's so important. Number four, and this is something that I've just come to learn like within the past year or two, is to take rest days. I know it's so tempting if you're a gymaholic like I am and was and have been for my lifting career, to just want to be in there every single day. I have had, stretches of months throughout my past years of lifting where I lifted 7 days a week, no rest days, because I just love going to the gym and I love training and I won't take any days off. And I mean, if your volume's on point and you can actually recover from that and you're not pushing yourself super ridiculously hard every time in the gym, that might be possible. But I like to push myself kind of hard in the gym, and I would not listen to my body, and I would not be able to recover properly from those workouts because I'm not taking rest days. Just because you take like 1, maybe 2 rest days a week doesn't mean that you're gonna lose all your gains. Make sure to take rest days because recovery is so important. You can't just keep breaking down your muscle. You have to give it time to build back up, to build up bigger and stronger. So make sure that you're taking rest days, maybe 1 or 2 a week. Trust me, I know the temptation to just work your butt off in the gym and be in there every single day, but taking a few days off is good for you. Mistake number 5 is to train your muscle groups more than once a week with higher frequency. Because actually for my first year of lifting roughly, I did a bro split where I had like an arm day, a chest day, a back day, a leg day. So I would only hit that muscle group once a week, which, you know, it works. That I saw gains from that, especially if you're a beginner, you'll see gains, but you could be getting more because if you train that muscle group maybe twice a week, you're able to maximize that protein synthesis and get in that anabolic state more than once a week. Because if you have like 7 days in between training body parts, you're not maximizing your body's ability to grow those muscles. So I'd recommend a training split where you're combining muscle groups, maybe something like a push-pull legs or like a chest and arms, back and shoulders, something like that, where you're able to hit muscle groups maybe twice, maybe even 3 times a week. Mistake number 6, and a mistake I am still making, is stretch. Focus on your mobility. From the time I started lifting up until now, I have not focused enough on improving my mobility, making sure my body's flexible, stretching before workouts, stretching after workouts. Because training kind of wrecks your body and it puts your body in kind of uncomfortable states. Make sure that you're keeping your body mobile, keeping your body healthy. If you don't, you're gonna be tight, you're gonna have injuries, you're gonna have nagging pains. Like I've got some in my back and my shoulder area from, I'm sure, not having enough mobility, not stretching enough. So right from the start, make sure you focus on finding a mobility routine, a stretching routine, and doing it consistently to keep your body in good shape. So those are 6 things that I think I didn't do as well of a job on, but here's 4 more things that I think I did a pretty good job on, but I see a lot of people don't do as well. Tip number 7 is to focus on progressive overload and to track your weights, your reps, and your workouts. Right from the start, I had a notebook that I would write down my weights, what lifts I did every single day, how many reps, how many sets, to make sure that each workout I was doing more, maybe more reps, more weights, more sets, more volume, because that progressive overload is how you're gonna see gains, how you're gonna improve over time. So make sure that you track everything so that you are making those improvements each day, each workout, each week. Tip number 8 is to train every muscle group. Train your full body. There are a lot of people out there who skip leg day, and I've been guilty of it, but don't just go in and train chest and arms every single time. I think I've done a good job over my training career of having a pretty even split, because you want your body to be symmetrical and you want to be able to train every part of your body, and especially don't skip leg day. If you're trying to get bigger, if you're trying to put on muscle, trying to put on strength, and if you're trying to maybe gain weight as a beginner, if you're a skinnier dude especially, you'll be able to put a lot of weight on these bad boys if you train your legs and if you're eating right. Tip number 9 is to focus on compound movements using mostly free weights, dumbbells and barbells. Too many people go in the gym and just focus on hanging out by the machines, hanging out in the cables. I like cables. Cables have a great place, machines have a good place, but focus mostly on doing barbell and dumbbell movements. But you stabilize your muscles more, make your body work more, help you to master certain movements, and especially focusing on compound lifts. So not just doing like curls the whole time or doing like a chest fly or something like that. Involve movements, the big movements that involve multiple muscle groups. So like a bench press or an overhead press or a row or a deadlift or a squat. Those big key compound movements should be the base of every single one of your training sessions. And lastly, tip number 10, a super important one that I see all the time. Supplements are not necessary. The amount of beginner trainers who are trying to put on muscle, put on size, put on weight, who turn to like a weight gainer shake. Don't get me started on weight gainer supplements. That is the biggest waste of money I've ever. And things like BCAA, pre-workout, I've never taken in my 6 years of lifting. I've never taken pre-workout. I've never even taken like caffeine supplements or anything because you don't need it. People think like, oh, they see the big fitness people on YouTube. Everyone's taking pre-workout. People at the gym tell you gotta take pre-workout. You don't need that. Just go in the gym, train your butt off. Supplements are supplemental add-ons to the food that you eat. Make sure that most of the things that you're intaking are quality food and drink. The only supplements I've ever taken are whey protein, which I'll just throw into maybe like a shake or into my oatmeal, something like that. And I'm taking creatine, which I would say is effective. And if you have the means to, if you want to use creatine and you're in a position where you're consuming a fair amount of food, which is what creatine is best used for, to increase performance, strength, energy, output during training, I might recommend that. If you're looking for any other thing, I wouldn't say it's a huge benefit. It definitely is not. But I've used it and I would say that it has a slight benefit. So if you're looking for any kind of supplements, do not go crazy on the supplements. They just add on things. Especially do not spend crazy money on weight gainer shakes. Oh my God. Like a weight gain powder? Seriously, just eat more food. Throw a bunch of like oats and peanut butter and bananas, throw cereal in a blender, shake that up. But do not drop all your money on supplements. They are not necessary. There are my 10 tips, my 10 beginner mistakes for teen lifters, people just getting into the gym out there. If you are a more advanced lifter out there watching this video, leave in the comments down below any mistakes that you made, especially any ones that I've missed. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on the video. It helps me so much. And if you're new to the channel, if you stumbled across this video, hit that subscribe button down below. Check out some of the other videos on this channel. That's all we got for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.